Hey there, welcome to another Waiting in the Sky Pokemon Challenge. This monthly series has been picking up some steam now as the last 3 videos saw me face the Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn regions of the Pokemon world. Now for this 4th installment, I'll be taking my talents to Sinnoh. As determined by a spin of the wheel at the end of the last video, today I will be playing through Pokemon Platinum with only Rock-type Pokemon. So how's this all going down? Well, my rules for this challenge are as follows. 1. I am only able to catch the first Rock-type or eventual Rock-type encounter in a particular area or route. 2. My Pokemon's levels are limited to that of the highest level Pokemon in the next gym leader battle or the Pokemon League champion. 3. No use of items in battle with the exception of held items. And 4. Any Pokemon that faints must be released back into the wild. However, if I lose a battle outright, I do reserve the right to reload a save and try again. Think of this as the best case possible clause that allows me to show you all a successful run as often as possible. This is a rule set I'm now referring to as a Skylock. With the rules and background out of the way, let's get rockin'! So, to kick off this 3rd entry in the original Sinnoh games, I'm greeted by Professor Rowan, the well-mustachioed Pokemon researcher of the region, offering me answers to any questions I may have before my journey begins.
Yeah, when's lunch?
He then asks for my name, and seeing as this challenge is all about rock, I've got the perfect one for him.
You know what? Why don't you all just call me Mr. S?
Next I have to give him the name of my rival, the constant presence that I'm meant to struggle against on a continuous basis. So, naturally I name him The Man.
Who?
The Man! Oh, you don't know the Man?
This fits the overall theme of this run, but also let's give a shout out to Smallant on this one too. The Man is incredibly energetic and wants us to go off and explore without any Pokemon. Well, that's a big no-no in this world, and fortunately Rowan arrives to offer us a choice of starters. Now, I originally planned to use the Universal Randomizer to give myself Aaron as a starter and make a run at a redemption arc after the previous video, but looking ahead, I knew I needed better type coverage to stand a chance in this one, so I instead replaced Chimchar with Kabuto, a Pokemon I did actually catch and not use in my water-only run. The Man wastes no time and challenges me to a battle that is a bit dragged out and anticlimactic, but I win. We then visit the lake on a quest for a legendary Pokemon, because the Man isn't satisfied with having been given a free rare Pokemon, I guess. There we find a strange man talking to himself that I'm sure will not be important at all. Finally, we advance to Sandgem Town, where I get the usual spiel about the Pokedex and can give a nickname to my new Pokemon. I name him
Zack Attack. Take a seat.
as he's destined to be shredding as a lead man on our team. His docile nature is neutral, and he's also got the Swift Swim ability. A bunch of other stuff happens, but nothing particularly interesting besides getting a free Apple Watch by answering trivia questions from 3 clowns. Now slightly leveled up, I'm challenged by the Man for our first legitimate battle. His Starly and Piplup will likely be big threats later on, but right now, Zack Attack can easily still take them on his own. This clears the way for our first addition to the team, a Geodude I find at the Orberg Gate. I catch it and name him
Tough guy.
And honestly, it's refreshing just to not have to solo the first gym this time. Tough Guy is also a Jolly Guy, which raises speed and lowers special attack, and he also has the Sturdy ability. But that won't be our last encounter. After watching Rourke break a rock in the mine,
4.5 gold stars for you.
I find an Onix to catch and name her
Turkey sub.
She has a naive nature to increase speed and lower special defense, along with the Rockhead ability, which nullifies recoil damage. With our team now at 3, I level up to the current cap of 14 and take on Rourke at the Orberg Gym. Zack Attack is the easy MVP here, having access to Absorb since level 6. He makes short work of both Geodude and Onix, and if it weren't for the defense lowering effect of Onix's Screech, we wouldn't have even broken a sweat. It did come down to the wire against Cranidos though, but my original fossil Pokemon proved superior and I'm awarded with the Coal Badge and the TM for Stealth Rock. Now it's time to backtrack through Jubilife and head north for our next gym battle. As I pass through Jubilife, I find Rowan and Dawn being harassed by this generation's evil team, Team Galactic. Dawn and I make short work of them in a double battle, and I can continue on my way. I'm not done with Galactic quite yet though, as a little girl alerts me that they have her father held hostage in Valley Windworks, so I take out a guard there, then go to Floaroma to get the works key to enter the building, where I can have my first big bad battle with Commander Mars. Mars leads with Zubat, and I send out Tough Guy, who can get an easy KO with Rock Throw after missing its first. Next comes Purugly, which is known to be a pain at this point in the game. I decide to use Magnitude, and after a couple puny ones, a Magnitude 9 is enough to take down the big ugly kitty and its trainer. This allows me the chance to introduce myself to the now freed man. Hey dude, you can call me Mr. S.
And no, I'm not a licensed teacher, but I have been touched by your kid.
On that note, I make my way to Eterna Forest, where some random girl with a Chansey named Cheryl decides to travel with me for a bit before just ditching me at the end of the forest.
And I don't even care. You know what? So what?
In Eterna City, I can talk to the Underground Man who gives me the Explorer's Kit, which actually gives me access to a new party member in the form of a fossil Pokemon. Which fossil you obtain underground is technically based on your trainer ID or something, but I'm cheesing it slightly so I can for sure get the Skull fossil, since Cranidos' attack power will likely come in handy in this run. When the fossil is ready, I name Cranidos
Spazzy McGee.
Spazzy is naughty by nature, which further boosts his attack at the expense of special defense. And since he doesn't have any rock moves, I teach Spazzy Rock Tomb. Sorry about that, but you know what just happened here?
We were singing, and we were learning. We were learning in sing-song.
So with my team now at 4, I head back to Eterna City. But since it was a Friday, I also stopped to battle a Drifloon outside of the Windworks, because these things are literally ghosts that kidnap children, and they should be exterminated. I get to the grass gym in Eterna City, and I know this is a huge challenge. I got obliterated a few times before actually realizing I have access to another Pokemon that will be a key in this battle. I head toward Mount Coronet to the east, running into the man and Cyrus along the way. The man can tell I was struggling and offers me the brilliant advice of making sure my attacks hit and my opponents miss. I also meet Cynthia, who gives me the HM for Cut, which I won't be able to use until after beating Gardenia. Finally reaching Coronet, I have a 5% chance of encountering a wild Nosepass. When I do, I catch him and name him
Braceface?
Braceface has a careful nature, which adds special defense and lowers special attack. Perfect for the role we need from him. What's even better is Braceface can evolve immediately by leveling up within Mount Coronet, becoming the first Pokemon on my team to not be weak to grass, Probopass. As a rock, steel type, Braceface takes neutral damage from grass, which is crucial. I thought that Braceface would be enough of an addition to make it through what might be the biggest challenge of this whole run, but sadly, I still can't get close despite various strategies. I have good moves to use, like Turkey Sub Sandstorm and Screech, Braceface's Taunt, Spazzy McGee's Focus Energy, and Zacatec's Sand Attack. But Braceface is the only Pokemon I have that doesn't get ousted immediately by Gardenia's grass moves. Of particular note is Grass Knot, a move that bases its damage on the target's weight. The heavier the target, the more the damage, which I find incredibly offensive since my Rock-type Pokemon are all on the heavier side.
And, you know who else has a weight issue?
Who?
Me.
This ultimately led to numerous unsuccessful attempts. And as much as I wanted to avoid making even the slightest alteration to the rule set for this run, there is an unavoidable truth that I'm forced to face here.
The thing is, you guys, I ain't that good.
I have to make a little one. In order to get past this point, I decided to allow myself to resurrect the other fossil Pokemon, Shieldon, for use in this battle only. Sorta, kinda, technically breaking a rule.
If you want to rock, you gotta break the rules.
I revive our temporary Shieldon and name him
Posh Spice.
Posh has some kind of nature, I'm sure, but he's not going to be around much, so just don't worry about it, it's fine. With my party now full at 6 and leveled as high as can be, I challenge Gardenia once again. I now lead with Posh Spice, who whose steel typing gives me another Pokemon able to withstand grass moves. I use Taunt on Turtwig to prevent the Reflect, which is an absolute full-fledged pain to handle under these circumstances. I then switch to Rock Smash, hoping to do at least some damage while more importantly hoping for a defense drop. I get a couple defense drops while tanking Grass Knot, allowing me to take out Turtwig with a takedown and avoid a potion use from Gardenia. Recoil activates my held berry for some recovery on my end before I level up. Next, I choose Brace Face against Cherim, using a similar technique, taunting to prevent the devastating Leech Seed after she first uses Safeguard. I can then withstand the damage of Grass Knot to take out Cherim after 3 rock throws. I'm stoked at this point, with most of my team healthy as Gardenia sends out her ace Roserade. I know that I need to weaken Roserade for a chance here, so I switch back to Posh Spice, who, despite being paralyzed, gets 2 defense drops with Rock Smash. Destined to progress no further, Posh Spice is taken out by a Magical Leaf, but his work is done. A crucial Quick Claw activation on Tough Guy leads to a fatal Magnitude 7, and one of the biggest obstacles in this whole run is officially behind us. As you watch Gardenia award us our badge, you might be asking, TJ, since Posh Spice fainted, do you have to release him?
Yes, and it's a requirement. And it may sound easy, but nothing could be harder.
Just kidding. I've only known the guy for like 5 minutes. Check this out. Yeet. Now I can use Cut to reach the Team Galactic building here, where this international policeman, Looker, just drops his disguise right in front of everyone. I continue on to a battle with Jupiter, who I defeat pretty easily despite the randomness of Magnitude. Man, I can't wait until I learn Earthquake. Afterward, Cynthia offers me an egg in this trying time, but I decline since I can't use it, and she's just so incredibly pushy and won't let it go. She seriously won't even let me step toward the bike shop to progress. So I just give in and say I'll take it, but then she won't give me the egg because I have a full party.
What? Can you get her out of here, please? Why? Why her?
I take the bike path to Hearthome City, and when I go to find the gym leader Fantina at the contest hall, I'm surprised by Mom, who starts talking about things that have nothing to do with rock Pokemon and gym badges. So I just grab Fantina and bounce. At Fantina's Ghost Gym, she sends out Duskull, and I go with Spazzy, whose Dark-type Pursuit is an efficient one-shot. Next, I swap out Brace Face to brace and face Mismagius, Fantina's ace. He gets confused immediately, like a bunch of you probably just did. Which is annoying, but I am not in much danger and eventually get a Thunder Wave off for the paralysis. This leads to some back and forth and a chance for me to explain what makes a rock-only run kind of tricky. Rock-type moves are generally inaccurate. This makes attacking with a same-type attack bonus painful at times. You can see that happening here with Rock Throw, but eventually I can take down Mismagius. Next, I switch back to Spazzy McGee against her last Pokemon, Haunter. And despite some frustrating confusion and sleep, I can win the match with a powerful, super effective Pursuit, earning me my 3rd gym badge, notably in a different order than you get in Diamond and Pearl. The Cobble badge in Veilstone is my next target, but the man gets in the way, challenging me to our 3rd battle. We start out with his Staravia against Tough Guy, who suffers an attack drop for some reason. Any ideas what that is?
Well, you know, I think it might just be one of those things where people are a little intimidated.
Despite the attack drop, I leave Tough Guy out there, who misses a Rock Blast as Staravia double teams. The next try is enough though, as I get a super effective critical hit for the knockout. More importantly, this brings Tough Guy to level 29, where he learns Earthquake. So it's bye-bye Magnitude. If I weren't doing this whole School of Rock only thing, I would have really liked to have thrown a community clip here. Pop, pop! For Roselia, I use what is now my accepted grass-type strat. Brace Face with Taunt, Thunder Wave, and Rock Throw. It's fitting that this rock run is Platinum, cause you know this band just keeps the critical hits coming. I took a minute to plan my approach for Prinplup, who is becoming a significant threat now, and decide to leave in Brace Face for the Thunder Wave. I then send out Zack Attack, who just doesn't have the special attack ability to really capitalize on Absorb, leading to a near knockout at just 1 HP. Back comes Brace Face, eating a peck for little damage. and then withstanding a Bubble Beam to defeat Prinplup with a couple of rock throws. I have my choice of who should take out Ponyta, so naturally I send Tough Guy back out to debut his new move to astounding effect. After the battle, we also see Tough Guy evolve into Graveler, giving our team some added firepower. The man tries to double down on his whole don't miss strategy from earlier, and I just want to get another badge, but he won't shut up.
Stop. Okay, good. That's pretty good. All right.
When I reach Veilstone though, I can go right to the fighting type gym, another tough task for a rock type team. As I challenge the gym leader Maylene though, I'm not worried at all, because Spazzy McGee is my secret weapon. I taught him Sword Stance and use it to power up my attack 2 stages while barely withstanding a Drain Punch from Metatype. This makes Pursuit a one-hit KO, leveling up Spazzy to 33 where he learns Zen Headbutt, a powerful physical psychic move. With my attack boosted and a brand new super effective power move, I leave Spazzy out there to sweep through Machoke and Lucario thanks to a missed attack on her end. At the conclusion of the battle, we see Spazzy McGee evolves into the absolutely brutal Rampardos.
That's it. Who can top him?
Maylene awards me my badge and one of my favorite TMs in Pokemon, Drain Punch, which I sadly will not be able to use at all. When I exit the gym, Dawn tells me she got her Pokédex stolen, so I get roped into doing a dumb story progressing battle with her, while Looker watches the organized criminals challenging the 2 children he's continuously put in harm's way. After that though, I can add our final new Pokemon to the team. It's the, Spikes Pokemon, Rhyhorn. Pokédex entries aside, this is a big addition to solidify our team moving forward. I name him
Mr. Cool.
And despite his mild nature giving him a useless boost to special attack and lowering defense, I'm still pretty psyched to have him. His Lightning Rod ability will likely come into play 0 times though, for anyone wondering about that. Next up is another battle against the man in front of the Pastoria Gym. This goes very similarly to the last battle, though Mr. Cool does get to see some action this time, rock blasting Staravia out of the sky. Roselia is able to Leech Seed Braceface this time, but having upgraded Rock Throw to Rock Slide, he's now powerful enough to just power straight through without much concern. I then bring out Zack Attack against Prinplup, and get a little risky, relying on a Sand Attack / Mega Drain combo. That works for a couple turns before I rightfully swap Braceface back in. A Thunder Wave paralyzes the man's Penguin, and 2 risky Rock Slides lead into Ponyta. I know you all wanted to see a Graveler Earthquake from Tough Guy though, so I make the move and it's just such a thing of beauty.
You could say that.
What's even more beautiful though is Tough Guy evolving into Golem, which is done by level up courtesy of the Universal Pokemon Randomizer. This leads into a showdown against Crasher Wake for the Fen badge. I once again find myself at a type disadvantage, and I'm worried this could be another roadblock. He leads with Gyarados, and honestly this took a few tries due to the sheer strength of Gyarados, something we know very well. On this attempt though, I go for the paralysis with Braceface, into Sand Attack from Zack Attack. I then have to hope for the best as I switch in Spazzy McGee. I make the switch and misses and paralysis allow me to use Swords Dance twice to set up before clearing Gyarados with a stab, super effective, 4-stage boosted Rock Tomb. Quagsire is his next move, and I didn't do that setup for nothing, so Spazzy stays out and eliminates Quagsire with a big Zen Headbutt. The big threat now is Floatzel, and I have to keep rolling with Spazzy here. I'm hoping against hope for the speed advantage, but not surprisingly, Floatzel moves first with Brine that brings me down to just 11 HP as I hit Zen Headbutt for the win. Spazzy is such a beast in this run.
You've got it. And I don't even know what it is, but you got it.
Okay, it is obviously its massive attack power, but still impressive. Crasherway gives me my 5th badge, and I happily make my way out of the gym, eager to continue on my adventure with my cute little pets, doing what 10-year-olds do. Oh hey, there's my neighbor and good friend the man. Hey bud. Did he just say a bomb? Okay, yep, I'm going to take the all caps boom as a bomb. That and they're saying bomb more times than Ben Stiller on an airplane to meet the parents. But hey, maybe don't involve children in acts of terrorism?
But hey, you know what? That's just one guy's opinion.
So I continue through some story stuff. You know, bombs, Cynthia with a secret potion, etc. Oh, and also Looker was there. This leads me past the herd of Psyducks. Gaggle of Psyducks? Squad of Psyducks? I spray the unknown potion on the group of wild animals and continue about my business, climbing a literal mountain to Celestic Town. There, Cyrus interrupts my alone time with Cynthia's grandma to tell me he's going to use legendary Pokemon to change the world.
No, come on, no.
We'll face him a few times, but this first one is particularly easy, since his team of Sneasel, Golbat, and Murkrow are all weak to rock. But just look at how frustrating confusion can be. This shouldn't have lasted more than 3 turns at all, but look at this. Afterwards, Granny gives me Surf and I can advance to Canalave for the next gym. Further confusing me, cause like this bombing situation is serious enough to involve children, but not so serious that I can't challenge a gym. What's more is that the man, who clearly knows of the imminent threat of Team Galactic, challenges me to another battle before I can get to Byron. Thankfully, my starter Zack Attack finally evolved into Kabutops, so I was ready to go. It's honestly very repetitive, but here's the new bits. His Prinplup also evolved, but Empoleon is taken down by Sand Attack and Thunderbolt. His Heracross is new, and a pretty scary opponent, but Spazzy McGee gets the job done with a couple of Rock Tombs. I have a tough time deciding on an approach against his newly evolved Roserade, but ultimately send out Braceface to play the classics. And of course, is it even a rival battle if I don't end it with a tough guy Earthquake to demolish his Fire Horse? This clears my path to the Canalave Gym and Byron's Steel team. This is yet another type I'm weak to, but at this point in the run, I'm developing some pretty good type coverage. Tough guy Earthquakes to defeat Magneton after surviving a Flash Cannon. This leads to Spazzy McGee versus Steelix, who I can't use because it's Steel Ground and not Steel Rock, leaving me with Onyx. A couple flamethrowers do the trick though, and for the finale, I send Tough Guy back out to outspeed and drop Bastiodon faster than when Gardenia beat Posh Spice. I don't know why I keep dunking on Posh Spice. He literally saved this run and I keep trashing him after he's been long gone. But Byron, Rourke's father, hands over our 6th gym badge and the TM for Flash Cannon. I now have to take a boat to Iron Island, where I was pretty sure I'd have to do some dumb cave stuff with the guy there before getting the HM for strength. But when I talk to him, he hands over the HM right away before heading inside and inviting me to join him.
All right.
So then I just run off because ain't nobody trying to deal with all that. At a meeting where an elderly man directs 3 children to investigate known bomb sites, we're having a really pleasant conversation. And
Boom! Big ol' explosion.
okay, cool, let's go check out these lakes now.
Look at them. They're terminal. Every last one of them.
I battle Jupiter again, this time at the decimated remains of Lake Valor. These galactic battles are becoming less and less interesting as my team continues to power creep theirs, so I'll save you the play-by-play. What is exciting though is Mr. Cool evolving into Rhydon, the first Pokemon ever designed, or something like that. Someone who knows the exact fact, please leave a comment about it. Rhydon helps bring down Mars at Lake Verity, and probably saves Dawn's life in the process. Again, not really sure where most Pokemon teams stand on the whole harming children thing. I now run around in the snow on my way to save my best friend and rival, the man, but he legitimately stands atop a cliff mocking me for not having the badge required for rock climb.
Cut it out! You're dying, remember?
So after dealing with the stupid ice gym puzzle, I challenge Candace at the Snow Point gym. Candice, unsurprisingly, uses an ice type team, which is weak to rock, but is also super effective against ground, which is 50% of my team. I play it safe and lead with Braceface against her Sneasel. A Rock Slide brings it down to a sliver, prompting a Hyper Potion use before another Rock Slide does the job. I next send out Rhydon to throw a heavy Hammer Arm and knock out Piloswine. Abomasnow is half grass type though, so naturally Braceface handles business and removes a huge threat from the field. Frostlass is her final Pokemon, and despite a less than 100 accuracy move, a couple of Double Deems, and probably the Snow Cloak ability, Braceface is able to defeat the Icy Ghost with a couple of Rock Slides. This earned me my 7th gym badge, and in honor of past runs that we were unable to earn a 7th badge in, please enjoy this musical performance. Rest in peace, Tony and the Steel types. And probably all of the Hoenn region, because Team Aqua definitely would have succeeded without the player stopping them. Anyway, I catch up to the man to find him getting savagely roasted by Jupiter. I just titled this video clip, "The Man Sucks." With nothing to do at the lake anymore, I make my way to the Galactic HQ in Veilstone, where Looker becomes Unlocker. And I meet this dude who claims to be the gruntiest of grunts.
Stop. That's perfect. You're perfect. Stay right there.
Alright, so this is the last big stretch of story stuff, and we're just gonna rapid fire through it. You ready? Okay, so Looker and I stand very much out in the open while Cyrus gives a dictatorial speech to a crowd of grunts. I catch up to Cyrus, who sprinkles more details about his plan to create a new world before losing to me in a battle again. This lines up a meeting with Saturn, who I can defeat in order to release the Lake Spirits, Azelf, Uxie, and Mesprit. If I mispronounce the names, I apologize. I then hike toward the top of Mount Coronet, called the Spear Pillar, with Looker offering very minimal assistance before sending me on my way. I joined the man in a double battle against Mars and Jupiter, and while this was actually a tougher fight, it still wasn't particularly noteworthy. What is noteworthy is Cyrus succeeding in summoning the legendary Pokemon and opening a path to another dimension, along with these freaking Nintendo DS cinematics that have no business being this good. Let's not forget Cynthia encouraging me to enter this portal to an unknown dimension. You know, normal people probably would just say no to that type of thing.
But not you guys, because you're not normal.
Naturally, we jump in and it brings us to the Distortion World, which is a magical place where you can run horizontally on walls, show off your hops, and push rocks into holes. There is a much more difficult final battle with Cyrus here though, because his Gyarados is an enormous threat, and I was afraid of overleveling, and I went in lower than I probably should have. Nevertheless, I prevailed again, earning me a one-on-one with the Pokemon Devil Dragon, Giratina. Ooh, I know. Everyone comment Giratina or Giratina, and GIF or GIF. What's the correct combo? We settle this here and now. Speaking of, I could have just used the Master Ball that Cyrus inexplicably gave to me to catch Giratina, but that's no fun, so I defeat him instead. For the clout, thus saving the world and returning to the regular old Sinnoh region. En route to the final gym, I meet Flint of the Elite Four, who sets up Pokemon's most well-known bromance by asking me to give his buddy Volkner a good battle. Not wanting to let these guys down, I evolve Rhydon into one of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon, Rhyperior, again made possible due to the magic of the Pokemon randomizer. I think Flint was hoping I'd have a hard-fought, competitive battle with Volkner, but instead I just decimate him with Earthquakes from Mr. Cool and Tough Guy. The battle does end with a showdown of Rhyperior versus Electivire, and I thought that was pretty cool, personally. Magmortar is feeling left out somewhere. But earning the Beacon Badge and a trip to the Pokemon League is overall a breeze. I head north to the coast, where a young lady gives me the HM for Waterfall, which I am very excited to teach to Zack Attack, since he's a physical attack. Hey!
Now hold up now.
That lady is actually Jasmine, a gym leader from the Johto region. How cool! Regional crossovers aside, it's relieving to make it to the Pokemon League after a trek through Victory Road. I do some final preparations for the last 6 battles of the run, upgrading my movesets and leveling up to 60 across the board. I'd normally try at a lower level first, but Cynthia is a notoriously difficult champion battle, and since the cap is 62, I decided to go in a little under, but not planning to give her any slack. Here's a look at the team I'm entering with. You can see we've got quite a bit of type coverage at our disposal now, and I'm really excited to show off some of these strong moves. I mean, look at Mr. Cool's arsenal here. Pretty impressive. Before the Elite Four, the man races up to me and challenges me to a final battle. He pivots quickly to Empoleon, forcing me to swap Braceface out in place of Tough Guy. I paralyze him with Thunder Wave as he hits Brine. I'm a little bit nervous because of Brine's power against foes with low HP, but fortunately the Thunder Punch I taught Braceface at the move tutor is enough to beat the man's starter. Heracross is an easy out with 4x super effective Aerial Ace from Zack Attack, setting up the traditional Probopass versus Roserade matchup that goes as it always has. For Staraptor, I go with Tough Guy, who tanks a close combat and delivers a powerful hit with Stone Edge to defeat the bird. Snorlax comes out next, and Mr. Cool takes him down with a Hammer Arm, allowing Zack Attack the honor of knocking out Rapidash, and officially sticking it to the man once and for all. I can now turn my attention to the Sinnoh League Championship.
Who else wants to go for the gold?
I do.
All right.
Up first is the Bug Specialist Aaron, and it's nice to start out with the type advantage here. He uses Yanmega's U-turn to switch into Scizor, who withstands a Stone Edge from Tough Guy. He heals as I switch to Earthquake, bringing him to the red. Tough Guy is dropped to 88 HP thanks to Iron Head, but a return is enough to bring Scizor down. Next we see another Heracross, and he's destined to suffer the same fate as the man's Heracross, as I send Zack Attack out to one-hit KO him with Aerial Ace. Next comes Vespaquin, and the 4x weakness train keeps rolling as Turkey Sub uses Stone Edge for what I think might be her first on-camera contribution of this run. Could have been a Steelix. Spazzy McGee goes out and takes an X-Scissor from Drapion like it's nothing, before responding with a super effective Earthquake. Finally, Aaron ends how he began, sending out Yanmega, who uses Double Team to no avail, as Braceface can end this first test with a Rock Slide. We get some post-battle bugs are beautiful nonsense before I'm allowed to progress. Bertha, get it? Because Earth, like the ground type, is the second of the Elite Four. I was slightly worried at first before remembering Zack Attack is a freaking beast. Look at this guy. Boom, Giga Drain for Whiscash. Boom, Waterfall for Hippowdon. Oh, not enough? Boom, here's one more. Golem, boom, Waterfall. Rhyperior, more like Rhyperior, am I right? Boom, Waterfall. Here's what a real Rhyperior looks like. I have a soft spot for Gliscor, but Gliscor also has a soft spot for ice moves. Let's just tank this Earthquake real quick, and boom, Ice Punch. And that, my friends, is Bertha. The best she can hope for is to see the birth of a champion. I should have left that one out of the script. Next is the remaining half of the bromance, Flint, who actually uses a team of Fire-type Pokemon in this version, unlike in Diamond and Pearl. Unfortunately for him, nobody filled him in on what this run is all about.
Hi. It's okay. It's cool. I just wanted to say I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have barged in here without telling you what was going down.
His Houndoom is taken out first by Mr. Cool, whose Quick Claw activates and allows him to move first and hit Earthquake. Infernape is next, and I go with Zack Attack for the boom Waterfall. Okay, that was the last time I'll do that, I promise. Flint's next move is to send out Rapidash, and it's like these guys didn't just see me wipe out the man's team of the exact same Pokemon. He charges for a Solar Beam that he'll never fire, as Tough Guy levels him with Earthquake. Here's Magmortar now, and rather than having Mr. Cool take him out like Volkner's Electivire, I go with Spazzy, and the two active Pokemon give us a reenactment of Rapidash v Tough Guy from approximately 10 seconds ago. I briefly entertain a switch for his Flareon before deciding not to mess with a good thing. One final Earthquake takes care of business, and Flint's fire is extinguished. He's a cool dude, but he's not better have burn heal cool, you know? The final Elite Four member is Lucian, who specializes in the Psychic type. We lead with Mr. Mime versus Mr. Cool.
Where's Mr. Schneeblade?
Right here. Me. That's the S in Mr. S.
Actually, it's Schneeblade.
So, right, Lucian. Quick Claw activates and gives me a knockout of Mr. Mime before he can try to set up any of his incredibly frustrating invisible walls. Bronzong is next, and I have an idea to send out Turkey Sub and set up a Sandstorm. This raises the special defense of my team by 50% if you didn't know. Well, specifically, it raises the special defense of rock types by 50%. Bronzong uses Calm Mind, so I now switch to Spazzy McGee, and since he just keeps using Calm Mind, I decide it's worth the risk to set up Sword Stance. I could use Fire Punch, but Spazzy McGee has Mold Breaker, which cancels out Bronzong's Levitate, and allows him to get the knockout with Earthquake in a fun interaction I've rarely done. Gallade comes out and hits hard with Leaf Blade to threaten my Rampardos, but a crit Swords Dance boosted Earthquake perhaps saves Spazzy from a second extinction. Alakazam is next, and he is tough. He knows Energy Ball, which is 4 times effective on 2/3 of my team, and Focus Blast for Brace Face, my usual grass counter. I use Zack Attack to lower his accuracy with Sand Attack before I switch to Brace Face. He resists Psychic to take minimal damage, and then he survives a Focus Blast, Sandstorm is clutch, in the red before I can fire off a Rock Slide to knock him down to healing range. As Lucian uses a full restore because he lacks Honor, I use Thunder Wave to paralyze Alakazam at the expense of Brace Face also being paralyzed because of the Synchronize ability. Predicting he'll try another Focus Blast on Brace Face, I feel comfortable enough to send Mr. Cool out, and fortunately I was right and he survives a Focus Blast where an Energy Ball would have been the end. Earthquake is powerful enough to finish Alakazam, and only Espeon remains. We're as beat up as we've been to this point, so I switched to Tough Guy, and true to his name, he tanks a Psychic before finishing the fight, Master Chief style, with an Earthquake. Reaching Cynthia with a full, healthy team is huge. She's got some heavy hitters, and I'll need full strength here. I mean, I'm kinda surprised she didn't just forfeit, after seeing my Pokemon kill the devil in the underworld and all, but I'm ready to battle nonetheless. She leads with Spiritomb, who before the introduction of Fairy type is one of only 2 Pokemon without a weakness in Gen 4 due to its Dark Ghost type combo. I know her team is heavily special attacking, so I lead with Turkey Sub for the Sandstorm. It's holding a Smooth Rock to extend the storm, but in this case, I do actually want it to fade before she uses Garchomp with its Sand Veil ability in battle. I use Brace Face for paralysis, making it safer to switch to Spazzy and burn a couple turns while boosting with Swords Dance. After getting hit to 35 HP, I have to strike and eliminate Spiritomb with Earthquake. Lucario is next and really scary, but the gods of rock are on my side as the quick claw I move from Mr. Cool to Spazzy McGee activates and allows me to one hit with Fire Punch. My Milotic is up and is a really cool Pokemon. Dumb, but really cool. I say dumb because she starts by continuously going for Mirror Coat, while Zack Attack lowers her accuracy. She then misses Surfs as well, ultimately receiving a full 6 level accuracy reduction. Brace Face comes in and surprisingly, Milotic does manage to hit a Surf. But sadly, she rode her last wave, as I can use the old Rock Slide double Thunder Punch combo to defeat her. Garchomp is next, and fortunately, the Sandstorm has subsided. Mr. Cool is my counter and holds on through an Earthquake to drop the Land Shark Dragon thing with a 4 times effective Ice Punch. This next part gets sad. I'm warning you, it does. Roserade is no joke. Grass types have been a challenge going back to Gardenia, and Brace Face is pretty damaged. I know what must be done. Zack Attack goes out and throws sand at his opponent once. Roserade misses. He throws it again. Roserade misses again. I breathe a sigh of relief and switch Brace Face with Roserade missing a 3rd time. I line up a Rock Slide, but Roserade misses a 4th consecutive time. My attack takes him to half health, and I try once more. This time, his Energy Ball does hit, but is resisted by Brace Face, who takes out yet another grass threat. I legitimately thought I won, but then I saw the name Togekiss pop up. My team is weary, so I go with my first Pokemon, the one who joined me all the way from the Kanto region, Zack Attack. I use Waterfall, thinking it would do at least half damage, and it does not.
No. That's all. Well, that's a mistake.
Yep, definitely a mistake. Knowing I can't survive long enough to defeat Togekiss, Zack Attack uses his last breath to do what he loved most, toss sand at the opposing Pokemon to lower its accuracy 1 stage. Yeah, this is what I get for all the shield on jokes. His sacrifice is not in vain though. As I command my last healthy Pokemon Tough Guy onto the field, Togekiss misses his attack, and I launch a Stone Edge that proves to be the final move of this run. I have defeated Cynthia to take the title of champion and my prize.
What's the prize?
A win will go on your permanent record. Hello, Harvard, yo.
No, seriously, that's actually pretty accurate if you think about it. Look, here I am walking over to the Hall of Fame, where they are literally just going to take a record of this accomplishment. What a fun run. What did you guys think? Did you like the exclusive School of Rock references? I'm thinking this is more of a one-off, but it's one of my favorite movies and it just fits so well I couldn't resist. Oh, but technically I've got one last thing to do. After the credits, I reload my save, march from my home to Sandgem Town, where I must release Zack Attack. Oh, he won't go because he knows Waterfall. Oh well. I'm not playing longer and going to the move deleter just for this bit, so use your imagination. It would be really sad. I'd cry, you'd cry, the onlookers in the Poke Center would cry, probably, and it would lead us to the Wheel of Typings. Take it away, past and less enthusiastic TJ. Alright, so here we are at the wheel, ready to determine the specific type for our next Pokemon Challenge run. So you'll notice that we don't have every single type on the wheel here. That is because we obviously have already done 4 different types. So we have removed water, flying, steel, and rock from the wheel. But you'll also notice, if you are a very eagle-eyed viewer, that the fairy type is also not on this wheel. And that is because, as you may have suspected, our next challenge will be Gen 5, and it will be specifically Pokemon Black. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and spin this wheel and see what type we're going to have to be using. And it's going to be fire. Very nice. So fire is the type for our Pokemon Black challenge. That is going to be next month's challenge video. I am super excited about this because I actually think fire is one of my favorite types to use in these games. So let's go ahead and take a look at what options we're going to have in Pokemon Black. Alright, so here we are taking a look at the Pokemon that are obtainable within the Gen 5 games, the fire type Pokemon that are obtainable. Now you can see here it goes all the way back to Charmander and the Charmander line from Gen 1. And one thing that is important to note here is even though we can technically obtain these Pokemon, well, and I shouldn't say obtain, you can possess them in the Gen 5 games. You cannot obtain them in the games without any shenanigans, and I'm trying to keep my shenanigans to a minimum, so let's go down and take a look at the Pokemon that we actually can obtain and use in our challenge run. And so unfortunately we will not be able to use Victini as a mythical Pokemon. However, we do actually have a starting type this time around. So we'll have to roll with Tepig right off the bat here, but we get the rarely used fire fighting type combo. But then we have a few other options here. Enough for at least a full team, it looks like, but not a whole lot beyond that. So this could be an interesting one, but a good challenge nonetheless. So I am super excited about that. That next challenge is going to be Litwick. Oh, come on, you can laugh. The video's almost over. Well, if you made it this far, I've got good news. Because you can watch more videos just like this one in my Pokemon Challenges playlist. Of course, to make sure you don't miss the next one, you'll want to subscribe. And oh, I can't believe I've not said this before, but ring the bell to get a notification when I drop a new video. And hey, it might not be Pokemon. That's right, as part of the Season 3 launch of Waiting in the Sky, I'll be debuting a new Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG weekly series on September 6th. Speaking of Season 3, podcast episodes pick back up in September as well. We put out main episodes on all sorts of geeky topics bi-weekly on Thursdays, and we'll have a weekly review episode as well. Check those out here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. Another thing you might like is this, right here. Specifically, YouTube thinks you'll like it, so why not give it a try? If you're thinking that one Pokemon challenge a month isn't enough, you can change that. Waiting in the Sky is now on Patreon, and if there are somehow 100 people crazy enough to give me $1 a month or more, I'll put out a new Pokemon challenge every 3 weeks. Finally, if you want to follow and interact with me, consider following the show on social media. I'm most active on Twitter, but I'm now going to be live streaming all sorts of games on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and/or Fridays. That's all for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
So his name really wasn't Mr. Schneebly?
No, it was like Dewey something.